It was a typical day for Jungkook, attending a TV show to promote BTS's latest album. As he sat down, he was greeted by the show's host, a well-known figure in the Korean entertainment industry. The host, known for his sharp tongue, began to ask Jungkook questions about his music and career. But things took a turn for the worse when the host made a comment that would change everything. "So, Jungkook, I hear your mother is a big influence on your music," the host said with a sly smile. "I mean, who wouldn't be inspired by a woman who—" The host's words trailed off, but the damage was done. Jungkook's eyes narrowed, and his face turned red with anger. "How dare you," Jungkook said, his voice low and menacing. "You have no right to speak about my mother like that." The host, taken aback by Jungkook's reaction, tried to apologize, but it was too late. Jungkook's anger had reached a boiling point, and he was not going to let it go. As the audience watched in shock, Jungkook stood up, his eyes blazing with fury. "You know nothing about my mother," he said, his voice rising. "She is a kind and caring person, and you have no right to insult her." The host, realizing he had gone too far, tried to backpedal, but Jungkook was having none of it. "I don't care if you're a TV host or not," Jungkook said, his voice firm. "You will apologize to my mother, and you will do it now." The audience was on the edge of their seats, wondering what would happen next. Would the host apologize, or would Jungkook take matters into his own hands? As the tension in the room reached a fever pitch, Jungkook's manager rushed onto the set, trying to calm him down. But Jungkook was beyond reason. He was a man on a mission, determined to defend his mother's honor. "What's going on here?" the manager asked, trying to intervene. But Jungkook was having none of it. "This host has insulted my mother," he said, his voice firm. "He needs to apologize, or I'm walking out of here." The host, realizing he was in trouble, tried to apologize, but Jungkook was not having it. "Your apology is not accepted," he said, his voice cold. "You need to do better than that." And with that, Jungkook turned and walked off the set, leaving the host and the audience in stunned silence. As the news of the incident spread like wildfire, fans of BTS took to social media to express their support for Jungkook. "Jungkook is a true son," one fan tweeted. "He will do anything to protect his mother." Another fan added, "I love how Jungkook stands up for what he believes in. He's a true inspiration." But not everyone was supportive of Jungkook's actions. Some critics accused him of being too sensitive, of overreacting to a harmless comment. "Jungkook needs to learn to take a joke," one critic said. "He's a public figure, and he needs to develop a thicker skin." As the debate raged on, Jungkook remained silent, his focus on his music and his fans. But the incident had left a lasting impact on him, a reminder that he would always stand up for what he believed in, no matter the cost. The incident on the TV show had sparked a heated debate among fans and critics alike. Some praised Jungkook for standing up for his mother, while others criticized him for being too sensitive. As the news continued to spread, Jungkook's management team was bombarded with calls and messages from the media, all wanting to know more about the incident. Jungkook, still reeling from the events of the previous day, was advised to lay low and avoid speaking to the media. But he knew that he couldn't stay silent forever. He needed to address the situation and clear his name. "I want to make a statement," Jungkook told his manager. "I want to explain what happened and why I reacted the way I did." His manager nodded in agreement, and together they crafted a statement that would be released to the media. As the statement was released, fans and critics alike waited with bated breath to see how Jungkook would respond to the incident. And when the statement finally came out, it was clear that Jungkook was not backing down. "I was deeply hurt and offended by the host's comments about my mother," Jungkook said in the statement. "As a son, it is my duty to protect and defend my family, and I will not apologize for standing up for what I believe in." The statement sparked a mixed reaction from the public, with some praising Jungkook for his courage and others criticizing him for being too defensive. But Jungkook didn't let the criticism get to him. He knew that he had done the right thing, and that was all that mattered. As the days went by, the incident began to die down, and Jungkook was able to focus on his music and his fans once again. But the experience had left a lasting impact on him, a reminder that he would always stand up for what he believed in, no matter the cost. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the host who had insulted Jungkook's mother was facing the consequences of his actions. He had been fired from his job, and his reputation was in tatters. He had tried to apologize to Jungkook, but it was too late. The damage had been done, and he would never be able to recover from it. As the host struggled to come to terms with what had happened, he couldn't help but wonder what he had done wrong. He had always been known for his sharp tongue and his ability to push boundaries, but this time he had gone too far. "I was just trying to be funny," he said in an interview. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone's feelings." But it was too late for apologies. The host's career was over, and he would never be able to show his face in public again. The incident on the TV show had sparked a heated debate among fans and critics alike. Some praised Jungkook for standing up for his mother, while others criticized him for being too sensitive. As the news continued to spread, Jungkook's management team was bombarded with calls and messages from the media, all wanting to know more about the incident. But as the days went by, the backlash against Jungkook began to grow. Some fans and critics began to question whether Jungkook had overreacted, whether he had been too quick to anger. They pointed out that the host had been trying to be funny, that he had not meant to hurt anyone's feelings. Jungkook, who had been quiet until now, decided to speak out against the backlash. He took to social media to express his feelings, to explain why he had reacted the way he did. "I know some of you may think I overreacted," Jungkook wrote. "But let me tell you, as a son, it is my duty to protect and defend my family. I will not apologize for standing up for what I believe in." The post sparked a mixed reaction from the public, with some praising Jungkook for his courage and others criticizing him for being too defensive. But Jungkook didn't let the criticism get to him. He knew that he had done the right thing, and that was all that mattered. As the backlash continued to grow, Jungkook's management team began to worry. They knew that the incident could have serious consequences for Jungkook's career, that it could damage his reputation and hurt his fans. "We need to do something to address the backlash," Jungkook's manager said. "We need to show the public that Jungkook is not a hothead, that he is a kind and caring person." Jungkook nodded in agreement. He knew that he needed to do something to repair his image, to show the public that he was not a bad person. "I have an idea," Jungkook said. "Let's do a charity event, something to show the public that I care about others. That way, we can shift the focus away from the incident and onto something positive." His manager nodded in agreement. "That's a great idea, Jungkook. Let's make it happen." Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the host who had insulted Jungkook's mother was struggling to come to terms with what had happened. He had been fired from his job, and his reputation was in tatters. He had tried to apologize to Jungkook, but it was too late. The damage had been done, and he would never be able to recover from it. As the host struggled to rebuild his life, he couldn't help but wonder what he had done wrong. He had always been known for his sharp tongue and his ability to push boundaries, but this time he had gone too far. "I was just trying to be funny," he said in an interview. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone's feelings." But it was too late for apologies. The host's career was over, and he would never be able to show his face in public again. Jungkook's management team had been working tirelessly to organize a charity event, something to show the public that Jungkook was a kind and caring person. They had chosen a local children's hospital as the beneficiary of the event, and Jungkook had agreed to perform a special concert for the kids. As the day of the event approached, Jungkook was filled with excitement and nervousness. He had always loved performing for his fans, but this time it was different. This time, he was doing it for a good cause. The day of the event arrived, and Jungkook took to the stage in front of a crowd of excited kids and their families. He performed a series of his hit songs, including Euphoria and My Time, and the crowd sang along with him. But the highlight of the event came when Jungkook met with the kids and their families. He took photos with them, signed autographs, and even gave out hugs. The kids were thrilled to meet their idol, and Jungkook was happy to see the smiles on their faces. As the event came to a close, Jungkook's management team was thrilled with the success of the charity event. They had raised a significant amount of money for the children's hospital, and Jungkook had shown the public that he was a kind and caring person. But just as things were going well, a surprise guest arrived at the event. It was the host who had insulted Jungkook's mother, and he had come to apologize in person. Jungkook was taken aback by the host's arrival, but he tried to remain calm. He listened as the host apologized for his actions, and he even accepted the host's apology. "I'm sorry for what I did," the host said, tears in his eyes. "I was wrong to insult your mother, and I'm truly sorry for my actions." Jungkook nodded, accepting the host's apology. "I appreciate your apology," he said, "but let's just forget about the past and move on, okay?" The host nodded, relieved that Jungkook had accepted his apology. And as they parted ways, Jungkook couldn't help but feel a sense of closure. He had stood up for his mother, and he had shown the public that he was a kind and caring person. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Jungkook's mother had been watching the charity event from home, and she was thrilled to see her son performing for such a good cause. She had always known that Jungkook was a kind and caring person, and she was proud of him for standing up for her. As she watched the event, she couldn't help but think about the host who had insulted her. She had been hurt by his words, but she was glad that Jungkook had stood up for her. "I'm so proud of you, Jungkook," she said, tears in her eyes. "You're a true son, and I'm grateful to have you in my life." Jungkook smiled, feeling happy and relieved. He had done the right thing, and he had made his mother proud. Jungkook's charity event had been a huge success, and he had finally put the incident with the host behind him. He was feeling relieved and happy, and he was ready to focus on his music and his fans once again. But just as things were going well, a new challenge arose. Jungkook's management team had been approached by a major fashion brand, and they wanted Jungkook to be the face of their new campaign. Jungkook was hesitant at first, but his management team convinced him to take the opportunity. They told him that it would be a great way to showcase his style and creativity, and that it would help to further his career. So, Jungkook agreed to be the face of the fashion brand's new campaign. He spent the next few days shooting photos and filming commercials, and he was excited to see the final result. But as the campaign was released, Jungkook began to feel a little uncomfortable. He had never been one for fashion, and he wasn't sure if he was comfortable with the attention that came with being a fashion icon. "I don't know if I'm doing the right thing," Jungkook said to his manager. "I'm a musician, not a model." His manager reassured him that he was doing great, and that the campaign was a huge success. But Jungkook couldn't shake off the feeling that he was losing himself in the process. "I just want to make music and perform for my fans," Jungkook said. "I don't want to be a fashion icon." His manager nodded understandingly. "I know, Jungkook. But sometimes, you have to take risks and try new things. This could be a great opportunity for you, and it could help to further your career." Jungkook thought about it for a moment, and then he nodded. "Okay, I'll do it. But I'm only doing it because I want to make my fans happy, and because I want to challenge myself." The fashion brand's creative director had been working closely with Jungkook's management team to create a campaign that would showcase Jungkook's style and creativity. She had been a fan of Jungkook's music for years, and she was excited to work with him. "I love Jungkook's energy and charisma," she said. "He's a true artist, and I think he would be perfect for our brand." As the campaign was released, the creative director was thrilled with the response. The photos and commercials were getting a lot of attention, and Jungkook was being hailed as a fashion icon. But she knew that Jungkook was still a little uncomfortable with the attention, and she made sure to check in with him regularly to make sure he was doing okay. "I know this is a lot to take in, Jungkook," she said. "But you're doing great, and I'm so proud of you. Just remember to be yourself, and don't let the pressure get to you." Jungkook smiled, feeling grateful for the creative director's support. He knew that he still had a lot to learn, but he was excited for the challenge. Jungkook's fashion campaign had been a huge success, and he had become a household name in the fashion world. He had been invited to walk the runway for a major fashion brand, and he was excited to showcase his style and charisma. As he arrived at the fashion show, Jungkook was greeted by the creative director and the rest of the team. They were all buzzing with excitement, and Jungkook could feel the energy in the air. "Hey, Jungkook. We're so glad you're here," the creative director said, giving him a hug. "You're going to be amazing on the runway." Jungkook smiled, feeling a little nervous but also excited. He had never walked the runway before, but he was ready to give it his all. As the show began, Jungkook took his place at the end of the runway. He was wearing a stunning outfit, complete with a sleek black jacket and matching pants. He looked confident and charismatic, and the crowd went wild as he walked out onto the runway. The music started, and Jungkook began to strut his stuff. He walked with confidence and poise, his eyes scanning the crowd as he went. He was in his element, and he knew it. As he reached the end of the runway, Jungkook struck a pose, his arms raised in triumph. The crowd erupted into cheers and applause, and Jungkook couldn't help but grin from ear to ear. He had done it. He had walked the runway and rocked it. The fashion brand's team was thrilled with the success of the show. They had been working tirelessly to create a stunning collection, and it had paid off. "We did it," the creative director exclaimed, hugging her team. "We created something truly amazing, and Jungkook was the perfect model to showcase it." As the team celebrated, Jungkook's manager approached them with a smile. "I have some great news," he said. "Jungkook's performance on the runway has generated a lot of buzz, and we've received several offers for him to model for other fashion brands." The team cheered and congratulated Jungkook, who was beaming with pride. He had never imagined that he would become a fashion icon, but he was loving every minute of it. To be continued in episode 7. Note: the story will continue in the next episode, with Jungkook facing new challenges and learning to navigate the complexities of the entertainment industry. The story will explore themes of identity, creativity, and the challenges of being a public figure. Jungkook's manager had arranged for him to do a photo shoot with a famous photographer, and Jungkook was excited to see what the shoot would be like. As he arrived at the studio, Jungkook was greeted by the photographer and his team. They were all friendly and welcoming, and Jungkook felt at ease. "Hey, Jungkook. We're so glad you're here," the photographer said, shaking his hand. "We're going to create some amazing photos today." Jungkook smiled, feeling a little nervous but also excited. He had never done a photo shoot before, but he was ready to give it his all. The photographer began to explain the concept of the shoot, and Jungkook listened intently. He was fascinated by the creative process, and he was eager to learn. As the shoot began, Jungkook was amazed by the amount of work that went into creating just one photo. The photographer and his team were all professionals, and they worked together seamlessly to create stunning images. Jungkook was a natural in front of the camera, and the photographer was thrilled with the results. "You're a great model, Jungkook," he said. "You have a real knack for this." Jungkook smiled, feeling proud of himself. He had never thought that he would be a model, but he was loving every minute of it. Jungkook's photo shoot had been a huge success, and he had become a household name in the fashion world. But he was still a musician at heart, and he was eager to get back to making music. His management team had been working on a new music video for his upcoming single, and Jungkook was excited to see the final product. He had been involved in the creative process, and he had given his input on the concept and the storyline. As he arrived on set, Jungkook was greeted by the director and the rest of the team. They were all buzzing with excitement, and Jungkook could feel the energy in the air. "Hey, Jungkook. We're so glad you're here," the director said, shaking his hand. "We're going to create something amazing today." Jungkook smiled, feeling a little nervous but also excited. He had never made a music video before, but he was ready to give it his all. The shoot began, and Jungkook was amazed by the amount of work that went into creating just one scene. The director and his team were all professionals, and they worked together seamlessly to create stunning visuals. Jungkook was a natural in front of the camera, and the director was thrilled with the results. "You're a great performer, Jungkook," he said. "You have a real presence on camera." Jungkook smiled, feeling proud of himself. He had never thought that he would be a music video star, but he was loving every minute of it. As the shoot came to a close, Jungkook couldn't wait to see the final product. He knew that it was going to be something special, and he was eager to share it with his fans. Jungkook's management team had been working tirelessly to promote his upcoming single. They had been teasing the music video on social media, and the fans were going wild. "We're so excited to share this music video with the world," Jungkook's manager said. "It's going to be a game changer for Jungkook's career." As the music video was released, the fans went wild. They loved the visuals, the music, and Jungkook's performance. It was a huge success, and Jungkook's management team was thrilled. "We did it," Jungkook's manager exclaimed. "We created something truly amazing, and Jungkook's fans are loving it." Jungkook smiled, feeling proud of himself. He had worked hard to create something special, and it had paid off. Jungkook's music video had been a huge success, and he was eager to perform his new single live on stage. His management team had been working on a concert, and Jungkook was excited to see the final product. As he arrived at the venue, Jungkook was greeted by his fans, who were all buzzing with excitement. They had been waiting for this moment for months, and they were ready to see Jungkook perform live. The concert began, and Jungkook took to the stage. He was nervous but also excited, and he gave it his all. The fans loved his performance, and they sang along to every song. As the concert came to a close, Jungkook was exhausted but also exhilarated. He had given it his all, and he had loved every minute of it. "Thank you, everyone," Jungkook said, bowing to the audience. "This has been an amazing experience, and I'm so grateful to have such wonderful fans." The fans cheered and applauded, and Jungkook smiled, feeling proud of himself. He had worked hard to create something special, and it had paid off. Jungkook's concert had been a huge success, and he was eager to perform one final show before taking a break. His management team had been working on a special finale, and Jungkook was excited to see the final product. As he arrived at the venue, Jungkook was greeted by his fans, who were all buzzing with excitement. They had been waiting for this moment for months, and they were ready to see Jungkook perform live one last time. The concert began, and Jungkook took to the stage. He was nervous but also excited, and he gave it his all. The fans loved his performance, and they sang along to every song. As the concert came to a close, Jungkook was exhausted but also exhilarated. He had given it his all, and he had loved every minute of it. "Thank you, everyone," Jungkook said, bowing to the audience. "This has been an amazing experience, and I'm so grateful to have such wonderful fans." The fans cheered and applauded, and Jungkook smiled, feeling proud of himself. He had worked hard to create something special, and it had paid off. As the curtain closed, Jungkook took a final bow. He had done it. He had performed his final show, and it had been a huge success. Jungkook's journey had been a long and winding one, but it had been worth it. He had faced challenges and overcome obstacles, and he had come out on top. As he looked out at the sea of fans, Jungkook felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. He had done it. He had made it to the top, and he had done it on his own terms. "Thank you, everyone," Jungkook said, his voice filled with emotion. "I couldn't have done it without you. You are the reason I do what I do, and I am forever grateful." The fans cheered and applauded, and Jungkook smiled, feeling happy and content. He had found his place in the world, and he was exactly where he was meant to be. The end.